Welcome to the ultimate backstage pass, the pulsating heart of the high school sports universe. Get ready to rock with the gang from the Corner to Corner podcast as they take their sports obsessions to new heights. Meet the dream team, Sean Kuiper, Adam Muncy, Wes Crouch, and Daron Stevens, as they unpack the secrets, emotions, and triumphs that light up our local sports heroes. Whether you're gearing up for a game or unleashing cheers from the stands, get ready for an exclusive scoop that'll knock your socks off. It's showtime!
Welcome back into another episode of From Corner to Corner Coaches Corner, episode 348. Take a moment to share this out to all of your friends, tuning in on YouTube, X, Facebook, all the good ones. Let's take a moment to thank all of our sponsors before we get started. Community Trust Bank, Innovative Designs, CRC Roofing and Renovations, Jacobs Auto Body, Kentucky Realty Group, Simply Secure, Brent Wehunt Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg, Jacobs Vision Center, and Kaufman's Funeral Home and Mortuary. So joining us to start off the episode tonight, we've got Eric Jones here with us. Eric is here to talk about the rebirth of tackle football with Parks and Rec.
Yeah, we're super excited. Kind of come up on us quick. The new coach at McNabb, Nathan Mead, called me one afternoon, was like, hey, what's the chance of getting tackle football started? And I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, well, it's going to be tough. And trying to get everybody on board because when it was taken from us, when they quit doing it, it was quite the uproar in the community, if you remember. So I told him, I said, man, I'm on the Parks and Rec board now, which I'm super excited about being on there. We got a great group that's got a big vision for the parks. So I said, can you lead us in the right direction? And he's not only done that, he reached out to Clark County. And I know that's kind of when they showed up the other night to the board meeting with the Clark County blanket, they just wanted to say, I'm like, let's put that up because we got to get kids signed up. We can't be throwing Clark County Cardinal stuff around. But they kind of, when they reached out to the Clark County bunch, James Day, they said, we kind of got a dilemma that we don't have a field this year. So, we got a field out at Mapleton, and we need kids. So we got talking, and he came over and had a meeting with me and Lindsay Maples at the pool up at the Parks and Rec Department, kind of put our heads together, and from that point forward was like, let's move with it. And all the park, we sent out a group message to all of our board members, and everybody's on board. We felt like it was the right time, great opportunity for our kids, and we feel like we need to be a feeder program for all schools. We think I remember the day when I played that, it started at Purple Park and Carpenter, and time they got to middle school, we had programs. We had kids that could already play. In my experience this year with McNabb softball, I got to help Jason and that crew for a little while during practice, and we had kids showing up that's never played ball before. So I think it's a Parks and Rec problem going back to we needed to develop our kids at the Parks and Rec level. And going back to football, this is a great opportunity for both leagues. And now we just need the kids. It's short time, but we got till July 1st. We're going to be in the 127 conference, which is
the hard part's out of the way.
Yeah,
the conference is already set up.
That was the obstacle that we was a little nervous about, but James has worked hard in getting that taken care of. There were some things from the past that the 127 didn't really like about MoCo, not having enough kids. One year we told him he was going to be in the conference. We didn't get enough kids out. So I think there was communication issues, so we was kind of nervous about the 127, but we got that worked out. And now it's up to the community and everybody just to put out that we need kids to sign up. We're excited about it. We hope the community's excited about it. And again, we're in conjunction with Clark County, but we're hoping within a year or two that we've got our field. Yep. So we're hoping by the next year, the 2 years out, that we'll be doing it all ourselves.
How funny is that Clark County and Montgomery County is coming together to work on a project together? That's pretty wild on that.
And at the meeting, the ultimate goal was it's all about the kids.
Right.
You know, we had
Right.
to put our rival beside us, and I'm just as hard as any of them. You know, I played football and baseball over here, and that was always, that's the game on the calendar you mark as soon as you get the schedule out. But the ultimate goal for Clark County and Montgomery County, the Parks and Rec and their league, was these kids deserve it.
Well, you know, one of the other things about Parks and Rec is it makes it more affordable for the families and the kids that can't do the travel ball. So when travel ball is the only option, and we know, we literally, before we went on air, we're talking about how expensive the trip to Tennessee for your basketball team was and how expensive those travel tournaments are. Not every parent can put out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for travel ball. So there's a purpose for Parks and Rec, and it's been around for moons and moons and moons, and it's good that we've got that, and it sounds like we've got the right direction to get Montgomery County Parks and Rec back on the right track.
Good thing about it is, and Eric, we were both at the meeting, so it's the word travel, and that scares people right off bat because, oh gosh, how much is it? It's $50.
$50.
Right.
$50, that's it.
The last year
The
we had
travel
tackle
is
ball.
you have to go to the games, right?
That's it.
Yeah. We play a schedule. You know, I think the farthest they say would be. We're not going to Somerset this year, so it's Berea.
Right.
So Berea would be the farthest spot, and the rest of we got like Fleming and I think a few other counties. They're surrounding counties, so the travel part of it is we go play on their fields.
Yeah,
and which is
Berea's
no different
an hour
from.
and 15 minutes.
And it's no different from the only difference between that and middle school ball is we don't have a bus taking them. We got your parents taking you.
Yep.
But when we quit doing the tackle football, it was $100 a kid, and you got to play. This time you get a nice reversible jersey, Moco jersey. It ain't gonna be Clark County. They are gonna put us in Moco if we have the numbers.
Mine is gonna be Clark County. I ain't that age yet. But
All right. But the kids that sign up for Montgomery County will have a Moco reversible jersey that they get to keep for $50.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the thing. The beauty of it is two things that really hindered us was getting the numbers out. Was the main thing was the cost.
Yep.
You got a family that's got 2 or 3 kids. $100 a kid it's a hit. At $50, and we're not going to let cost prevent us from having a kid play. My company, and I've reached out to other local companies that are going to do scholarships. So if you're having financial issues and these kids want to play, we want them to play. So reach out to us. We're going to make it happen no matter what.
And there's also a payment plan, right?
Yeah,
you can break it down
$12.
4 payments of $12.50. I think it was.
Yeah, so we're definitely want to work with you. Our ultimate goal on all parties involved in this, the rec board, the Clark County, is the community is make it affordable and make it a good product. And I think we're really heading in the right direction.
So what grades are we talking about here for this first year?
We need 20 third and fourth graders and 20 fifth and sixth graders.
Okay.
Now, they've already started sign-ups, and when you click on the link, until you complete it, it means you're in the cart.
Yep.
So right now, we still got 3 weeks, 2 weeks. If everybody that's started the application fills them out, we're really close to completing both grade levels. So we just need to get the ones in the cart, go ahead and pay and sign them up. And then the ones that are on the board of do I want to? Are we going to have enough kids? Is this going to be something that's pulled a rug out from under us? It's going to be up to you guys. We're putting the product out there, and it's going to be a good product. We're going to, we're really going to evaluate our coaches. We're not just going to have somebody out there. I think Parks and Rec has got the stigmatism of our coaches and our umpires are not great, and rightfully so. But we're working on that. We're going to start having umpires clinics and coaches clinics. But this product already, we're guaranteeing you're going to have people that has great knowledge of football.
But at the same time, it's easy for us to sit there and say it's a Parks and Rec issue. It's a Parks and Rec. But at the same time, parents, sign up. Sign up to coach your kids because Parks and Rec needs volunteers like that. If you're knowledgeable in football, if you're knowledgeable in baseball, sign up and coach your kid.
Or umpire.
You
get paid.
Right.
It's a great opportunity to give back to the community, and you get paid to do it and making a difference in these kids' lives. I've been very fortunate. My dad, of course, Kenny Jones was involved since I was, I remember dragging Preble Park on a box spring right on the back of the truck just to, get the field drug. So I've been lucky to be around Parks and Rec all my life. This will be my 32nd year coaching. I was coaching girls softball, so I've coached football, softball, basketball, soccer that I have no clue about, but I tried.
See that net? Yeah, kick the ball.
I said, go down there and score, and don't let them score down here, and let's try to win this thing. But, come out and umpire. You'll get as much out of it as the kids do, if not more. When you see these kids getting better, and you're able to not only umpire but help them coach, it's a huge reward at the end of the day.
And a couple other things, like if you're not very good on the computer or with your phone, we're going to be set up at Walmart coming up with a table.
Do you have the date on that? I should have.
It's going to be this weekend.
Okay, this coming weekend.
And Coach Cabe at the high school has gave us clearance to set up at the camp. So
awesome.
The free youth camp going on at the high school, we'll have a table set up there. So bring your kids out, sign them up, we'll take care of them.
Yeah, the key, guys, I know we've said it over and over, let's get these numbers up so we can make this a huge success.
And you know, Sean, he talked about it getting loud a couple years ago. I was one that was loud. So, it would be very hypocritical of me not to commend you all for bringing it back
we
after
appreciate
being
it.
very loud about going away.
Several conversations on the podcast about
not just
about
on podcasts. Like, these guys have heard me off the mic talk to Coach Cabe, talk to the athletic director, like, guys, we got to get this back.
You did not want to have to take your kids to Clark County, right?
I didn't.
But you had to. Yeah.
I had to make the choice.
So would you ever see us getting below the third, fourth level?
Yeah, I think we're just getting started. That's the beauty of it, is this is something to get us started, and we want to give our kids every opportunity they have in other counties right here at home. Right. I think again, our Parks and Rec board has kind of been revamped. We got some new members on there that see the bigger picture, and you can tell it at our meetings that we're excited about some of the things coming up. We're trying to get infrastructure fixed at the park first and foremost, but our programs is something that we've really, really done a lot of talking to and soul searching, and that's something we got to get back to. And this group is really full steam ahead on getting our programs back and getting started.
Well, so we got football coming.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else coming down the pike?
We're looking at things as far as youth volleyball. That's huge. My daughter plays for Cumberland's, Morgan. She's been on the show before, and she's real adamant about it. And she wished she would have had these programs at early age. Other parks and rec departments are starting that, so we're really looking into some fall programs. So talks are we're going to talk about some volleyball, some possibly lacrosse, just some new things that we can get our kids involved in off these iPads and cell phones, out of the air conditioning, and get them out to our parks and filling them up with our local kids and getting them excited again about Parks and Rec.
Coach Craycraft has to be happy to hear that, because our volleyball program has been pretty solid for a while.
Absolutely.
And those kids don't start till 6th grade.
Right.
So if you can start them 2nd, 3rd grade level, 1st grade level,
and
even better.
Our vision is to just kind of like the football thing, started out one thing at a time. We don't want to put all our feet in the fire and make it a failure. Yep. So, we're going to try to get some of our former stars that played volleyball here to come out and do like a clinic at the 1st and 2nd grade level. Then possibly as they get older to move them up to start playing some, and eventually have a top-notch program that can be, again, a feeder program for middle school and high school.
That's awesome. And then, last week we hosted our first swim meet in over 10 years here. We was talking before the show. It's not a regulation pool, but all of the coaches agreed to use this pool. So now we're able to host that, and we're going to be hosting another one this
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So
and there was a lot of people there Wednesday.
And I'll tell you, our swim program is top notch. Laney does an excellent job with those kids.
No, let's not boost her head too much. Come on now. Let's not get her head too big.
I will tell you, I don't know very little about swimming, but listening to the ones at the Parks and Rec board and hearing how those programs have been so successful, Again, our pool is not regulation, but to have our meets here is huge for these kids, and that is a well-run machine, that swim program we have here.
Yeah, absolutely.
If anybody's heard me at the board meetings, I'm I don't like the parent-ran programs, but I will say the swim team, I would never want to touch it because it is ran so well.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can sign up online. You can go to Walmart this weekend, or you can go to the youth camp. When is the youth camp?
June 23rd?
Yeah, 23rd.
So that's next
I
Monday.
believe so, yeah.
It's a Friday, I think, ain't it?
Well, June 23rd is next Monday.
Maybe it's next Monday. Then.
All right.
Yeah.
June 23rd.
Yeah. So June 23rd at the will that be at the high school at the football field?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
football camp.
Yeah, there's going to be a football camp, so you can go sign up there. $50. Don't let money be in the way, right?
We're going to make it happen.
Look, Eric, if it comes down to it, then you need $100.
I got
Holler
you.
at me. I got you.
Good. We
All right?
appreciate that.
From Corner to Corner, take care of that, because we're not going to let these kids not play over $50. Goodness
Absolutely.
gracious. So, well, thanks for coming
Yes,
on and
sir.
spending some time with
Absolutely.
us for sure.
Enjoy it.
We're all excited. We've been rooting for it for a couple of years now.
Yes.
So,
Let's make it a success.
Yeah,
Everybody in the
absolutely.
community needs to be behind this.
I mean, they're either rooting for it to work or they're rooting for me to shut up. One. I can't figure out which one it is. They've either heard me talk.
all
about
of
it.
the above.
I think it's
All of the
weird.
above. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial. When we come back, we're going to have Tonia and Lukas Witt joining us, so we'll be right back.
The team at Community Trust Bank believes in making financial dreams come true. Just like a fairy godmother, they work tirelessly to ensure their clients have the security and support they need, while also helping them create a magical future. With a touch of personalized service and a sprinkle of expertise, they guide their clients towards their goals, whether big or small. At Community Trust Bank, they are not just about managing money, they are about nurturing dreams and building a prosperous future for all who walk through the door. Join their family and let them make your financial wishes come true. They are your friend in banking. Member FDIC. You're listening to the From Corner to Corner podcast, brought to you by Jacob's Auto Body Repair and Paint Shop is the ultimate pit stop for all your car needs. With a combined experience older than your grandma's secret cake recipe, we're here to fix you up. Drop us a line at 859-274-7425 for a free quote and let us get those wheels rolling. Our yearly growth is like a high-speed chase fueled by the love and trust of Mount Sterling and beyond. It's all hugs and high fives to our amazing crew of customers for keeping our engines revving with success.
All right, we are back, and we are zoomed in there.
And we went straight to the logo.
All right, we're here with Tonia and Lukas Witt, and Tonia, this is the first time back in a while. The first time we had you on the show, we were in the back corners of the church still.
We
That
were
was
way
like
in the
4
back corner.
studios ago.
yeah, we've moved a few times since then, and then of course Lukas, your son, is here. He was a key part of the basketball season for us, running stats and stuff. I mean, that was a great addition to the calling the basketball
Look,
games for sure.
you don't understand how important stats are until you get them right in front of your face.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Lucas,
because we
where
were
you
like,
been?
oh wow, we missed that, but yes, that was definitely a great addition there.
I won't say which school, but there was a certain school at the region tournament that you looked at 3 sites and it had 3 different rosters.
Yeah.
Somehow Lucas was able to get the right roster
Right.
and had us ready to go by
Yeah.
tip-off.
Yeah, because we were like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? The numbers wasn't right. So yes, absolutely, great job on that part of it. So Tonia, you've recently been writing some books. You've done some children's
Just a
books.
few. Yeah.
And then, you've got a social media book out there that's, teaching the importance of that to student athletes. So where did the writing come from all of a sudden? What made you get into that?
I'm not really sure because if you'll ask anybody, I can't stand to read. So I guess I enjoy writing more than I do reading. But, just a lot of life experiences, being around the sport so much over the past few years and seeing kind of the evolution from, players not being paid to now, being able to be paid. still a lot of stuff out there that kids don't know at a young age, and it's important for them to, get that information now so they're prepared when it comes time for them to get that check for, all the hard work they've been putting in.
So one of the things, Tonia, on your social media book that really stood out, like if I'm going to read, it's got to grab my attention right off the bat. And literally, first page of the introduction, you're talking about a student athlete and what their role should be in the community and all the things that they should aspire to be. Has that had a positive influence on these kids, like when you give these books out?
Well, I think a lot of times kids don't really understand who's looking at them,
right?
Who's watching them. Lucas, for example, parents will reach out to me and say, hey, I think Lucas signed something for my kid. Like, Lucas probably doesn't even know that really is, of great importance, but to that kid, it's really important. And so, I try to teach him, just like, I try to share with the other kids, you really got to watch your P's and Q's anywhere you are, anytime. Really the only thing that you have, that you came into this world with and that you'll go out with is your name. And so, you've got to make sure that you protect that at all cost and, do things the right way for the right reasons.
Well, and since you went that way, I'll touch one of the notes I had wrote down here was authenticity. You're true, being true to yourself. And in the world of digital marketing and social media and all that stuff, your overnight fandom can become an overnight crash, just as simple with the wrong word tweeted out or you being caught on camera, overheard. You don't even realize you're being recorded. And it's like that's the first reaction for anybody, it seems like anymore. It's like they could be somebody out there struggling on the sidewalk, and you're going to have 12 people that grab their camera to record that rather than go and helping that person. It's just in the world we live in now. And it's because it's all about that click or that view. And, all the athletes and just anyone in general, you constantly have to watch yourself with what you are putting out there. And us even in what we do. We get called out quite often on some things that we say, and nothing intentional, but it happens. You just never know how somebody's going to react to what you say.
And I've always told kids, and I've really harped that anytime that you put something out on social media, like you can't take it back.
Right.
You can delete it, but I promise you somebody somewhere that, has beef with you or something, screenshot that real quick.
Yep.
And so you really just have to watch and monitor. And Luke will be the first to tell you that, like, I monitored when he was, first in social media because he had a huge following kind of right off the bat. And I was in his social media every single day. And let me see what you put out before you put it out there. And so, it's just really important that, like you said, one tweet can really spiral, what your fandom was. And, take Simone Biles, for example. She made a tweet last week that, probably cost her, millions of dollars and millions of followers and, kids looking up to her. But it's just, like you said, it's that one tweet, it's that one comment that really kind of sets the standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you talk about setting up your accounts, and you break down in the social media book, like, what's good for LinkedIn, what's good for X, what's good for Instagram. To me, that's the most important piece, because if you've got a player that's putting highlight tape on Facebook because Granny's on Facebook, well, that's not really going to get to a college coach just because your grandma's on Facebook.
Yeah. And it's funny because all of the social media platforms kind of have their own viewership. Like you said, grandma's probably on Facebook. Most of your college coaches right now are on Instagram or on X. A lot of your sponsors, a lot of your business people are on LinkedIn, where you can get a lot of like your NIL deals and things like that. And so, you've got to be diverse. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes work to get those things there. And you don't have to have all of those things. You got to kind of pick and choose, starting out what is kind of your niche, what's your main goal, and then, work from there.
And, you don't just kind of reading through like some of the steps and stuff, and like you have thought this out to an exact science, right? There are precise steps for and reasons, for everything that is done, all the way down to crafting your bio hook, right? You want, and you gave examples of boom, 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 boom. You got to make sure this is here. You said mention something that isn't just all sports, like coffee lover, I believe was the word that I remember seeing, and just different things like that, because you want people to know that there's more out there. You see a lot of kids that'll put their favorite Bible verse, or something like that. So you want to know that these kids are not just all about themselves, but like putting the videos on and things like that. And you even mentioned something like tagging their personal website. So advice, would you advise these kids to get a professional to help them build a website, or just go to Wix and build a cheap website? Because websites are a big deal in anything.
They are a very big deal. I have several that I have to monitor, and so I thought that I could do that all on my own, and I learned real quick that managing all those things probably wasn't the best option for me. So I do have somebody that kind of helps with those things, and and you don't necessarily have to have a website right off. I think it's really important that you get all your ground pieces in order. Like you said, a Bible verse, or a coffee shop, that lets businesses know what your interests are. If you're interested in coffee and I own a coffee shop, I'm probably going to reach out to you and say, hey, well, what can we do? What can we work on together? So, it's just really important. That bio is very important, because that's the first thing you see when you open it up. One of probably the most important thing is what your username is. It drives me crazy, and I tell kids all the time, like, it's 007-825 PRQ. Like, I don't know who you are. Like, I don't know how to find you if I'm a college coach. And so I really, try to coach them to make it something that's recognizable. Let me find you. Like, if I'm a coach and I saw you at a camp and I said, hey, who's that kid? And they tell me your name, and I can't find you on social media because you've got some randomness.
Krusty Krab 29.
Yeah, something. Let me know who you are. Let me find you. Those things are important. But these student athletes are more than just athletes, and so it's I think it's important that they kind of show them their true selves, what their interests are, because that opens a lot of doors these days.
So we've talked a lot about this social media book. One thing I get excited about is anytime you can bring a children's book. And Mia's been on quite the adventures here lately. How many Mia books do we have now?
There are 10. They are all 10 finished. I have all 10 author copies in my hands. Have gotten to look at those. It's been pretty cool to kind of see that come to full life. And so I'll be releasing another one in July, and then there'll be 2 per month until Christmas. So pretty excited. It's been a labor of love for sure.
So where did you come up with the name Mia for that?
I don't know. It just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
All of the characters in the book, you just, you kind of look at somebody and you're like, oh, that's a Mia, or oh, that's a Claire, or that's a, whoever, and
nice.
You just kind of, it just kind of fits the bill. It was really funny because one of the kids that has kind of given me some feedback and stuff, one parent reached out and said, my child was super impressed that Mia didn't wear the number 1 jersey. A lot of times we see kids with the number 1 jersey on. She said, so she asked her daughter, she said, why is that important? She goes, because not everybody's number 1. I was like, yeah. So another kid's parent reached out and said, hey, my kid was really impressed with book number 2. I don't want to give anything away, but I asked why, and she said because this specific, thing didn't happen in the book. And so it's, it's kind of real life stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
And Sean, that's just one of the many things. Like, there's a chance, if you've seen any photo from KHSAA, there's a 99% chance Tonia was the one that took the photo. It doesn't matter what the event. You cover esports, the basketball, the baseball,
it's
softball.
Been a little busy. Lacrosse, boys volleyball, girls volleyball, softball the past 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been a little busy. I'm excited for Dead Period.
Dead Period will be here.
You get a little tiny break,
get
right?
about, we get 6 or 7 days.
So how exciting was it to follow along with boys basketball team all the way to Rupp?
You know, I'm always at Rupp for the tournament, and it's always good to see those feel-good stories. But when it's your hometown and you know the history of that program and you know the work that these kids have put in, because nobody else knows, you know, what they sacrifice. Like when I say there's 2 weeks of dead period, that's the 2 weeks that these kids have off. Like my kid is, you know, at practice or in the gym, you know, most of the other 50 weeks out of the year. And so to see all of that work kind of culminate and just, you know, it was pretty exciting. It was pretty amazing. It was even more exciting that my kid was a part of it.
Yeah, it was definitely a special run because, you know, we were fortunate enough to get asked to be the voice of Huddle, which was completely unexpected. We didn't see that coming. And we planned for that. I mean, we did a lot. We put a lot of work into get into that. But to be able to call the run and be there to watch the games and see the growth of the team throughout the season and the ups and the downs and stuff like that, and then, you know, being able to make that amazing call at the end of the regional tournament game.
I watched that again the other day.
It gives you goosies every
does.
time.
Every time I see it, I'm like, I was there for that, and it's just, I mean, I was sitting down there on the baseline amongst all that, you know, down there, and I was like, what just happened?
It was crazy, and the funny thing about it is every time I watch it, you count all the passes that took place in like 6 seconds, and you're like, how the flip did they get a shot off? But it was, and when you listen to Adam counting it down, it doesn't match up to the clock, and it's almost like the clock is moving faster with him, and then just, you know, hysteria goes crazy. And
there was a long time I watched that video, and I chose a different person in the crowd to watch just to see the reaction.
Yeah, it's
different every time.
It does.
When I go back and look at those photos, I pick somebody different out and just kind of what their reaction, you know, was.
Yeah, it was surreal, and we were definitely blessed to be a part of that part of it for sure.
Lucas, you've been awful quiet over there. It's your time now. So you made the switch to be manager. You kept the stats. You done everything. You showed up to practice. Is that something you want to keep doing this year on into the future, or what?
I mean, it's definitely something that like I want to do. Definitely want to get into coaching after basketball is over. Like as you know, stats and all that. Getting into coaching. Hopefully, coach college basketball, high school basketball, something like that. And just, you know, seeing, basically doing what the impact of basketball has done on me to other people, because I don't think I've ever would have thought that I would have been in the position to go to state or whatever. Like before that Clark County game, my career record versus Clark was, I don't know, 0-14, I think it was. Like
going back to middle school. Yeah,
I mean, just so like, you know, that game, and the district game too was big, but, you know, just have that experience and seeing how many people it impacted, like that, you know, being able to see that line all the way to like the baseball stadium, and 4,200 people just selling the place out. It was like a college atmosphere, like a Cameron indoor, like that. I mean, it was.
Now you're speaking my language.
I mean, it was just. I mean, it was really cool and really special and something I'll never forget.
I had some photos standing up at the top of the steps looking out, seeing all the people out the line. It was pretty crazy.
They can say they cut those ticket sales off all they want. I don't believe it.
Pretty
there was
sure
way
the fire
more
marshal
than
would show us now.
We had
There was
1,200
way more
standing
than
in our bubble because the whole night we were like this. We couldn't even move. I was so like tense.
Yeah.
When the game was over because people finally backed off of us.
We couldn't even get in the locker room. Like after the game, we're trying to like get people out of the way. We have security trying to move people and just get them out of the way. And it was crazy. And you have to go get Caden out of the crowd because, you know, who knows what Caden is going to do. So you gotta go.
Caden's a showman.
Yeah.
He plays to the crowd.
Yeah. He might have been crowd surfing out there as far as you know with him.
Now that the season's over, let me let you in on a little. I don't know how many people caught it at the game, region championship. Mays calls timeout. Caden is here. I can still picture it plain as day. He's walking to the bench. He turns around, finds his mom in the crowd. She's sitting up here on the left. Yeah. He says, video this.
Yeah.
Walks to the huddle, comes out, hits the shot.
Yeah, and actually, in the huddle, he said, "Give me the ball. I'm gonna," something like that. But he was like, I knew right then. I said, "Caden Reed's gonna make this shot," because I mean it's Caden. And then I don't know if y'all saw, but the little viral video with the kid behind the Clark County bench. He was trash. He was like, he called it before. I was like, man, like that kid's so special. I mean, he's gonna do great things, but like just that experience was just insane. Like I don't think you could write a book better than that.
So, I mean, we talked a little bit about you going into the stats part of it. Like during region tournament, you were giving us stats. Every radio station around, like you were a machine over there.
Yeah.
So you were grinding in that whole tournament.
Yeah.
You've got a pretty good example of what it takes to be a grinder and a hustler. How much impact has your mom had on you as far as like, hey, I just got to go do the work?
I mean, big, because I mean, I always tell myself if I'm like, I don't really want to do it, just do it, get it done with. Like even if you don't want to do it, just get it done with. But like, I mean, I have a job to do, and my job's to do what Coach Mays basically tells me to do. So whatever he tells me to do, I got to do it and live up to my part and do my job.
That's
awesome.
a good answer.
Let's take a quick commercial. We'll be right back here again with.
Special thanks to Brent Wehunt, Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg, the sponsor of our Athlete of the Month program in Menifee County. Feeling jittery about diving into the world of property? Fret not. Let Kentucky Realty Group help. Whether you're gearing up to buy, sell, or just need some guidance, let their expert team help sprinkle in some magic on your experience. From cozy condos to grand mansions, they've got your back. Seeking a fixer-upper, a slice of luxury, maybe a peaceful rural retreat. They've got the keys to all those kingdoms. Dive into their treasure trove of listings and let the property adventure begin. You're listening to the From Corner to Corner podcast, brought to you by Tutu's Sweet Treats, where you can treat yourself to our divine lineup of desserts that will dance on your taste buds. Whether you fancy gooey chocolate brownies or our deliciously moist cakes, we've got a treat for every sweet tooth out there. Give yourself a sweet escape and take a bite of pure bliss. It's time to surrender to your cravings, grab a fork, and dig into our homemade goodies for a dose of sugary happiness.
Hey,
Just so you know, it's the Coach's Corner.
One of these days, it's going to come up just to us, and it's going to be perfect. We're not going to get you dizzy coming back from commercial break. We're joined still with Tonia Witt and Lukas Witt. Lukas was talking a little bit about you. Your mom mentioned earlier that, she scoped your socials and you hit a pretty big following early. Lucas X on YouTube. Is that still going on?
No, it's not still going on.
He outgrew that, I think.
Outgrew Lucas X?
Yeah.
So, did you outgrow Steven Jackson too?
No, he's still my guy. I always talk to him. We always talk, hang out. It's pretty cool. To have somebody like that around you, and to know somebody who's been able to do championship level things, and to see what he can do, just take bits and pieces of what he's experienced, and he's told me about things. So it's
like Steven Jackson, the NBA player.
Steven Jackson, the former NBA player. Yes.
How in the world did you meet him?
It's a long story.
Yeah, long story.
Goes way back.
There you go. So, what's your big web or social site that you use now? If it's not YouTube,
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Yeah.
Feels like Twitter has kind of been rebirthed. Mm-hmm. Like it felt like it was almost dead, and then when Elon bought it,
it's because you're old.
No, I mean yes, but no, I mean Twitter was close to being like dead before he bought it, because you just never heard it. Because I mean, literally, people are like, yeah, nobody does anything on Twitter anymore.
That's where I get all my fantasy football news.
Yeah.
Which
You
Like
might
you
want
said,
to change your socials for that then.
you got to know.
It's a different world. Twitter is completely different. Like, that's why you gotta always watch. I mean, Twitter's like
NBA Twitter's the best.
Like, I'll get stuck scrolling. I'm like, dude, I'm in a different world right now. Like, just scrolling, like, you know. So you always gotta watch, like, just because I mean, Twitter's not reality, and I mean, yeah, it's
you can put a picture out there of a blue sky, and on Twitter there will be an argument. Like, not to bring up Israel and Iran, but Iran put a tweet, like literally the country of Iran put a tweet, and there was replies debating whether they could hang in the SEC West or not. Like, they were just talking college football in the Iran's replies.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think that you can. They was talking about Kirby Smart. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to overcome Kirby Smart's defense on this. And it's like, and it was just like someone retweeted. It was like, do you think that Iran realizes that they're being compared to SEC football right now? So,
Probably not.
but you see, I see posts all the time going, this is why I'm never deleting this app. It is funny. I do enjoy it.
So, are you still connected with the big three?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, through Stack, like, he'll hook me up, and I'll go down there and hang out, and, you know, sit courtside, or, you know, do whatever. You know, it's pretty cool, and you get to see a bunch of former NBA players that you've watched before. Like, I don't know if there's many people that watch as much basketball as me. Like tonight, I mean, I'm probably going to be going through stats of stuff, and, like, going through if I was the coach. Like, that's something I don't know why, I just do. You know, like, how would I guard SGA? Like, or how would I, what would I do? But, you know, it's like, it's just my mind, you know, being able to see different things happen. And I feel like that's kind of why I'm good with stats and stuff, and being able to watch basketball.
Watching a basketball game with him is next level, let me tell you.
We may have to do that.
Well, I mean, just have him on a live stream by himself, just sitting here watching the game on the TV.
Right?
Yeah.
So who's your favorite NBA team?
Phoenix Suns. Yeah, hope we trade KD but, you know, people have asked me that, actually, my friends, but, like, you know, I feel like let's keep KD if we can, but if we can get a really good tradable package for him,
Desmond Bain just went for 4 first
yeah,
rounders.
I mean, let's get our value. Like, I don't want no first round pick, just like one like Luka was traded for. But, like, if we can get
that was a setup.
Man, I don't know about that, but, you know, like, that whole situation was crazy. But, like, you know, I've always watched the Suns. A big Devin Booker guy, so
I figured it was probably Booker.
Yeah, I watched a bunch of games. I've been
That's
to
why
a
your
bunch of
wife
Suns
likes
games.
the Phoenix Suns.
Well, she's mad at Devin Booker right now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
Oh.
because he had on an Arkansas shirt when Arkansas and Kentucky played. I tried to tell her it was coming because he was a Cal guy.
Yeah. Wow.
She don't listen.
Yeah.
So, Lucas, I mean, you've got 2 more years of high school left?
Yeah, going into my junior year, yeah.
So, what's plans after high school? Have you started to think about that?
Yes.
You know, I definitely want to go to Kentucky. That's the dream place, you know, because I watch Kentucky basketball. Like, that's a religion for me. Yeah, I mean, Kentucky's definitely the goal after high school, and then after college, definitely getting into coaching and all that, and hopefully being able to do something with Mark Pofman in Kentucky. You know, it's still being worked on and stuff, and hopefully I can get there pretty soon, but, you know, I'm looking forward to that opportunity if it happens, and if it doesn't, you know, I have other things I can get into, like, you know, writing and stuff that I've been doing. Yeah.
What are you thinking major-wise?
Journalism, yeah.
Makes sense.
So, you mentioned your writing. You post blogs after games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where can we find those at?
The kypress.com, sportsviewamerica.com, and then the KY Insider. So right now I have a blog, KY Press, the KY Press. I'll just put stuff there, like if I'm writing stuff, like games and stuff. And then Sports U America, it just depends because credentials and stuff. So whoever credentials you, you basically write for them that night. That's kind of how I do it. And then whatever my guy Tristan over at KY Insider tells me to write, he puts it up on the website with a bunch of other people, their work, and that's kind of where that work goes.
So is it just basketball, or do you do everything?
Kentucky basketball. Yeah, that's it. Like I'm at every Kentucky basketball game. I'm working. I'm doing just sitting up there press row, going to press conferences. Talking with players. I'm talking with recruits, and different things like that, and just meeting as many people in the basketball landscape as you can is a really big thing, and it goes with how hopefully in coaching I can do that, because at the end of the day, relationships are like the biggest driving factor out there in the landscape.
He's more connected than you are, it sounds like.
He is very connected.
So he talks a little bit about connections and how important is networking when you're wanting to get your foot in the door.
I mean, it's huge, and I've always said don't ever burn a bridge, or even if you don't like somebody or a particular player or whatever, that you've got to make sure that you leave those lanes of communication open, because you never know when you might need to call on them for a favor or whatnot. And so it's important to keep those relationships, because those are the driving force of kind of everything that you do in the sports world.
Now, I asked him about how good it was to see a grinder like yourself. So how proud of a kid, how proud as a mom are you of your kid for just putting in the work?
I mean, he's definitely putting in the work. A lot of people don't see, like you said, I mean, he is a walking encyclopedia when it comes to sports. Like, he will see somebody and he'll start spouting on, and I'm like, how do you know this? And it's just, a lot of people think it's just, scrolling on social media or, whatever, but it's really preparing him for real life. He plays a lot of NBA 2K and, video games and stuff, and, that really prepares him for what he wants to do. And so, I mean, it's kind of homework, but he definitely puts in the time, and he really has a passion for what he does. So I'm excited to see where his future takes him.
Listening to him talking about watching the NBA game tonight, I'm just watching it going, how do we stop Halliburton from beating my Thunder? And he's over there going, how am I going to stop SGA? And I'm going to do this and break down this and that, so.
He says my Thunder. He's been a Thunder fan since January, when they already had the league's best record.
That's not true.
And that's only because we made him pick one.
We made him pick one.
We made him pick one team.
And the one team just so happened to be the team with the best record in the NBA.
SGA. That's why.
So you've covered a lot of events, Tonia. We've talked about, what's your favorite event to cover?
It's so funny because I was at state tournament softball this weekend, and somebody asked me what my favorite photo has been. I'm like, I can't give you a favorite photo. I've had the opportunity to cover a lot of really cool stuff that I never thought that I'd have the opportunity to cover. I've gotten to cover, youth sports stuff all the way up to the pro level stuff. I think it's just a culmination of having the opportunity present itself. One of the really cool moments was a couple years ago when Ohio State played Iowa at Ohio State, Caitlin Clark and that. And so going back to relationships, I still had a relationship with Kennedy Cambridge, who was at UK the year before. She was at Ohio State. I reached out and said, hey, can you hook me up, get me a credential, point me in the right direction? So I got credentialed for that game. That's the game that went into overtime. Ohio State beat them. They rushed the court. That was a really cool moment. Being a part of the region tournament championship, that was an experience that I'll never forget, just because I've seen those kids grow up. Those kids have been at my house. My kids been at their house. Just, the joy on their face. That's just something that I'll never forget. I've covered a lot of really cool stuff. I've still got a few bucket list items that I would like to cover, but, I can't say that I haven't had experiences.
So, Lucas, how do you stop Caitlin Clark? You want to talk about how to stop SGA? How do you stop Caitlin Clark?
Got to pick her up. I mean, you got to pick her up full court because
knock her off her spot, right?
Yeah, you got. I mean, she's pretty low percentage inside the three, so you make her go inside, do something uncomfortable. I mean, that's how you really do it. I mean, you gotta force her off the 3-point line. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, she's such a great 3-point shooter. I mean, you just gotta do the what's hard, but you just gotta game plan and watch as much film as possible. And
that game the other night, her shortest 3-pointer was 27 feet, and the 3-point line's 22 feet? Isn't that what I saw?
Something like that. She's crazy.
But I mean, like 3 or 4 of them was
30,
plus
30.
30. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
And that's where she's comfortable. Like just getting a step, like step in three, even though it's long. Like it. When you're stepping into it, and putting all your weight, into a shot like that. Like for her, it's a little bit easier than people think. Even though it is a deep shot, like you just can't let her just walk into it. That's where she's comfortable again. Like you gotta make her move and do something else.
So on the boys' side of things, we've seen when the Warriors took over and Steph Curry kind of took over the world, and then all of a sudden we've got high school kids and middle school kids out here shooting from 30 feet saying Curry. Yeah. Do you think Caitlin Clark will have the same effect on the women's game?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you already see it because, I mean, how many girls do you look and they have a Caitlin Clark jersey or something on? Like it's insane. So, like, I mean, you look at other girls that have had a big impact. It's like, Diana Taurasi. That was kind of like in the early 2000s, kind of like a bunch of girls is role modeled in. So it's, for girls now, it's definitely going to be like a thing. And you talked about Steph. I mean, to see somebody do something so effortless, it's almost like I want to do that too. So, a bunch of girls are going to, see that, and she's an idol for a bunch of young female athletes. Yeah.
And then you figure out real quick when you try, hey, I'm not Steph Curry.
Sometimes you yeah.
That is true about that, for sure. So to circle back and wrap up on the book part of it, if someone wants some of the Mia books, how do they find that?
You can get those from my website, which is www.theadventuresofmia.com. The first one is also available on Amazon.
All right. And then if they want the social media guide, how do they get that?
Just shoot me a message and I'll send it to them free. I will say that we've got a new book coming out later this fall. It's called The Parent Playbook. We've done a lot of interviews with a lot of parents who have had kids to go on to play college basketball, talking about the recruiting landscape and kind of what that's been like. And so we've got, different perspectives from kids and parents and kind of what that looked like as far as the D1 recruitment, the D2 recruitment, some different things, and just kind of what to expect when you enter that realm, because it's a whole new world.
Awesome. Well, I would highly suggest if you've got athletes that are on social media, this is definitely, I mean, I don't have athletes on social media, but I'm reading this thinking of things that we could improve from the podcast, that there's ideas in here going, yeah, I mean, these are things that we could improve on our side of it just as well. So it's really, really good. I enjoyed the read, and thanks for letting us opportunity to cover it and spread the word about it.
How's Rise Up going?
It's very busy. Just finished up the Cardinal Classic Scholastic Live period. Alex held that down for me while I was at state softball, and so we were kind of in two places, but a lot more content from that coming. And then, we've got live period coming up in July, so we'll be up in Louisville. I've got 5 AAU teams in my program now that'll be playing during that time, and then we'll be covering, some of the 600 teams that are there during that week and a half period.
I mean, if you're connected with any high school team on the female side especially, Rise Up does a great job. Like, if I'm at work, I can get on X and if Alex is covering an event or you're covering, the tweets are just constant. You can get updates, how players are doing, anything you want.
And that's the Run for the Roses, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So that's that many teams and it's that long?
Yeah,
That's
crazy. Yeah, and Alex has really kind of taken over our blog too. www.riseupsportsmedia.com. You can go to the blog, and there's a ton of information on there that you don't see on X. So
she's normally good about putting her schedule out too, right? Like
Yeah.
which games she's going to be covering.
yeah, that's a whole puzzle in itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because there's a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Well, so we don't have any athletes of the week to give away.
Thank goodness.
We don't have any
It's summer, Sean.
nominations or anything like that, but we do have a pretty big event coming next Monday or next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, the 24th at 6:30. Or I'm sorry, at 6 o'clock. We've got the Cornies. So it is our second rendition of the Cornies for high school sports. We're going to be handing out Boys Coach of the Year, Girls Coach of the Year, Moment of the Year, Team of the Year, Male and Female Athlete of the Year. Let's see, what else we got?
MVP.
We got the MVP, which is a new one. We have the People's Champ of the Year that's as well. And
Sounds
then,
like Caden Reed's going to take a lot of those. That's from what it sounds like.
I mean,
Lucas, that's an off-air conversation.
the
The voting hasn't been calculated yet.
The nominations have started, so we started dropping them on Saturday. I love the interaction that we're getting on all of those posts. These are nominations, though. These are not voting posts. So everybody's like commenting like crazy, and I love it.
They're just
But
supporting their coach.
That's
Let them
just
go.
just a supporting thing. That is not a voting thing. I'm just throwing that out there. So, but next Tuesday, the full hour will be dedicated to celebrating the Cornies. And then, we've got some other big things coming in the next couple of weeks as well. We're getting ready to celebrate our 4th anniversary. And we're going to have a ribbon cutting here. So more to come on that. But we're super excited as we get ready to gear up for the 2025-2026 season for sure.
And just to go all the way back around, we'll be at Walmart setting up for MoCo football, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade tackle football. Come sign up. We'll have a couple helmets set up there. We'll have a jersey right outside the Walmart. Hopefully the shaved ice guy's there so we can cool down a little bit. Just putting out a plug in case you're looking at this. And then the football camp next Monday, the 23rd, will also be set up there. So come check us out.
Yeah, absolutely.
John, we got some big surprises as far as format of the show too. That'll be dropping.
That's coming
on as we start season 5.
Yeah, absolutely. We always like to mix it up a little bit when we start a new season, so that's for sure. Well, Tonia, Lucas, thank you all so much for coming and spending some time with us. Thanks again to Eric for coming and spending a few minutes with us to get the Parks and Rec back underway. I'm super excited for that. So a lot of great things going on in Montgomery County this summer for sure on that part of it. So, well, guys, there you have it for this week's edition of the From Corner to Corner Coaches Corner. Remember to help us promote our podcast, our Athlete of the Week and Month programs. We do what we do for our communities, our teams, our coaches, and our students. They all deserve it. Catch you guys next week.
As we wrap up today's episode, we want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to the sponsors who make this show possible. Your support means more than words can truly say. You've helped us grow, stay consistent, and continue sharing stories that matter to our community. A huge thank you to Community Trust Bank for being a cornerstone of local support and believing in our mission from the start. Incovative Designs for bringing creativity and color to our world. Your designs speak volumes. CRC Roofing and Renovations for building stronger homes and stronger communities with every project you complete. Kentucky Realty Group for helping families find more than just houses. You help them find home. Jacobs Auto Body for keeping our rides smooth and our vehicles looking sharp. Your attention to detail doesn't go unnoticed. Simply Secure for keeping what matters most safe and secure. Peace of mind is priceless, and you deliver it every day. Brent We Hunt with Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg for being more than just an agent, for being a trusted neighbor and advocate for your clients. Jacobs Vision Center, for helping us see more clearly, not just through our lenses, but through your dedication to care. Kaufman's Funeral Home and Mortuary, for handling life's most difficult moments with grace, compassion, and dignity. Your service is a comfort to so many. To each and every one of you, thank you for believing in us. This podcast thrives because of your generosity and your commitment to community. We're proud to have you as part of the family. Until next time, take care, stay connected, and as always, thank you for listening.
The Moco Four Horsemen would like to thank you for listening to From Corner to Corner. Be sure to go out and follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. Whatever podcast platform that you listen to us on, be sure to go out and give us a 5-star review. Thanks as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week.